Welcome back to the channel. Today I'm discussing The Happiness Project by Gretchen Rubin, and the subtitle of the book, or Why I Spent a Year Trying to Sing in the Morning, Clean My Closets, Fight Right, Read Aristotle, and Generally Have More Fun. And I'm very late to the party. I think this book came out in 2010. Very late. Although Gretchen's been liking my tweets. If you follow my Goodreads account or my Twitter, I'll often tweet quotes that I really like from the book. Oh, 2009. And I've been tweeting those out recently, and she's been liking my tweets. So, Happiness Project came out a long time ago. It's 2022 now. But I think it's still a relevant book to read because it's not one of these personal development books that just says the same thing over and over. She goes through an entire year, January through December, of a happiness project in which she is simply being more intentional with her free time. And it's not that radical of a concept that we would be as intentional with our free time as with our work time. For the things that we have to do for work, we have meetings, we have schedules, we have deadlines. We work through those diligently. Why? For whatever reason, whether it's because we're personally motivated by work or we're motivated by money, whatever it might be. But we do that. But when it comes to our free time, we just sort of laze around. And in part because perhaps the type of work that we put ourselves into has made us incapable or unable to engage in real meaningful recreation, recreating ourselves, leisure that is not simply doing nothing and sitting on the couch watching Netflix, but the sort of thing that can help us go back to our work more meaningfully. And so this book encourages us to take our leisure seriously. And I know that sounds funny to say, but it's important. If the things that we take seriously in our lives, they matter, and they often hopefully give us great joy. Let's say you take your family seriously, or you take your friends seriously. Nobody would want to be accused of not taking their family seriously or not taking their friends seriously. But what does that mean? That means that you think about special occasions for people. Maybe that's a wedding anniversary, or a big milestone for somebody that you want to celebrate. Well, you might plan for them, or you might buy a gift. Well, that takes some intentionality. And these other things in our life, whether that's scheduling meals, shopping, planning vacations, thinking about concerts that you want to see, and planning ahead and doing that this book is about all the things in life that can slip by. Whether that's, I want to be better with my kids, let me set a plan for that. I want a better relationship with my spouse, let me set a plan for that. And then the other things that are out on the edges. Maybe you want to get better in chess, and you set a plan for that, and you actually move through it. Languages, eating better. And she has some convergence with Marie Kondo here, insofar as Marie Kondo would argue, if you bought a book about a particular subject 6 years ago and you haven't read it, the time has passed. Your actions have told you what your thoughts and your feelings really are. So either amend your feelings and thoughts or amend your actions. And so if you've always wanted to learn German, either do it or let that go, because your actions are speaking what your real feelings on the matter are. Now, something else that I really appreciate about her is she admits to aspiring to things that she's not interested in. So she likes the idea of being interested in opera, but she's not interested in opera. So she says, I will never queue for the Ring Cycle, Wagner's Ring Cycle. I love it. She says, I would like to be good at chess, but I'm not that interested in chess. And discarding the things that we are supposed to like in favor of, well, what is it that I actually like? What is it that I actually care about? And lean into that. And if that means taking classes, if that means actually practicing something, that's how you're going to progress, because you're bringing intentionality to the process. Another aspect of the book, which I found really wonderful, is her vulnerability. So one of the things that she wants to work on in this book is her relationship with her husband. And she does this in a couple ways. One is she characterizes herself as someone needing gold stars. So if you're unfamiliar with this, in the American school idiom, if you did really well on a paper or an assignment. And when I say a paper, I mean some assignment as a kid. Think 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 years old. Your teacher might put a star, a sticker, a star on the assignment. And then you feel really good because you see this star. And I remember, stars on mine. Now, if you did really well, you might get a gold star. And Gretchen, and I don't know how she is now because she wrote this in 2009 and 2022. She may have progressed past this. But her willingness to admit that she needed gold stars from her family and friends. Now, what is she really saying? She's saying she needs credit. She wants credit for the good things that she does. This is a completely normal desire. Now, when I say normal, I mean humanly speaking. However, since I tend to take a supernatural view of everything in my life, the question is, well, what is supernaturally the view? And I'm reminded of a quote that's attributed to Harry Truman, but that I really love and I try to live my life by. It's amazing what can be done when you don't care who gets the credit. That if you're going to be poisoned by the need to have a gold star. And I don't know that Gretchen really realized that in the book, that it's poisonous, this desire is poisonous, but what she did realize, she did have the self-awareness to know that she needed gold stars. And so instead of reinforcing that and saying, yes, that's a good desire and I should get gold stars from everybody, she deployed empathy to realize, well, not everybody realizes that about me, and therefore I'm going to master that desire in this particular situation. So she didn't dismiss it, but she just used her self-awareness to improve her interactions with other people. So when she'd want a gold star from her husband and it didn't come, then she would deal with it. And she talked about and confessed it in these pages. And I just really, as someone who's not married, I really appreciated that insight into her and her willingness to be, frankly, just dead honest with a bunch of strangers about her marriage and about her own weaknesses. Sometimes she would yell for light reasons, and then she'll regret it, and then she'll try to patch it up. Same thing with her kids. She was inconsiderate in a certain way, or she wasn't listening the right way, and she did it, and she got better. And so, in a certain sense, it's a journal as well of someone who's realizing she doesn't have it all figured out, but she's trying to figure it out. And I think the book also hopefully is a wake-up call that to live your life. I think so many of us can sometimes forget that if you don't pay attention, life can just pass by you. Like sand through an hourglass, it's going to pass faster than you can possibly imagine, and it will only pass more quickly if you're unintentional about the time in which you're completely in control of. If you're at work, if you have a job, which is most of the human race, you're not entirely in control of the actions during most of the good hours of the day. So therefore, you need to find ways to optimize that. But when you're on your own, apart from time that you need to set aside for your spouse or your children, if you have those in your life, it's up to you. You can decide. You can decide if you want to have a good night's sleep. You can decide if you're going to gain or lose weight. You can decide whether you're going to keep your body well through exercise. You can decide whether you're going to pray. You can decide if you're going to be a good friend. You can decide whether you're going to be a good member of your family. You're going to decide what those mean. What does it mean to be a good member of my family? What does it mean to be a good friend? You can only do that if you take the time to think. And that means that you're being intentional with your free time. So, the end of the book is really a call to arms. I don't want to use such a militaristic term, but maybe just a call to action. That's what it is. At the end of the book is a call to action. What's your happiness project? And remember, it doesn't need to be as kaleidoscopic as hers was. I mean, she went through all sorts of things, from family, husband, her professional development, all the way to exercise and thinking about the afterlife and philosophy, those sorts of things. It doesn't need to be that. It could be one thing. My happiness project for this year, I'm going to have a better relationship with my spouse. I'm going to have a better relationship with my mother. I'm going to have a better relationship with my sister or with my friends. I'm going to be a better friend and work on that. And it doesn't need to be a year. She said it could be 30 days. It could be longer. I was going to say it could be 3 days, but no, I don't think that's enough time. I think you need at least 30 days to work through any sort of project like this. So recommended to inspire you. You may not need to read the book. You may get what I'm saying here and move along yourself, but I would encourage you to read her journey and get some inspiration for your own happiness project. I would argue I am on a continuous happiness project. I read this book and was reaffirmed in the way that I'm living my life. But I think that some of you who are not necessarily doing that could really benefit from this, and that's why I'm recommending it. So The Happiness Project by Gretchen Rubin. You can find the link below. If you like this video, hit like, subscribe, support my Patreon to see more of these videos. Click on the link to buy this book to support my work. And until next time, enjoy your reading.